Hello, welcome everybody to the Solo to Entrepreneur Show. You are with me, Lorraine Chai, the host. Currently, I am in Australia, but I have this wonderful, amazing good friend of mine, Lucinda Harris, who is with me today. And we're going to be talking about something that's really different that some of you or may not be able to resonate. So, Lucinda's background is as a nurse. I'm just going to make it clear and upfront. But now she is a big shot lady in her small hometown that is flipping farms. So we're talking about the whole concept of doing something different, the work and business that is completely different, um, like the hospitality industry, or let's say the real estate in the city area or the urban area, right? So Lucinda's business and has grown her business with her husband in terms of flipping farms and actually in the meat producing industry. So from someone that was a nurse to someone in the farmland, it's something that will be very interesting to touch base on. So welcome, Lucinda, to today's episode.
Thank you very much for having me. I
So tell
appreciate
us
it.
that experience with you transitioning from a nurse to a farm girl. I'm assuming
Uh,
it's because of the husband. Right?
I was very blessed. I grew up on a farm, but it was more of a hobby farm. We had sheep. But I always loved the land. And I said to my mum that I was always going to marry a farmer. And she said, why? And I said, because I love the great not the great outdoors so much, but I love the space. I
Right.
don't particularly like having a neighbor just there or whatever. And growing up on a farm, I always thought this is what I want to do. So I married a farmer,
But
found
you
one.
became a nurse though.
I did, but I did that. I started university and then I met my husband. And like every good farmer, they marry a nurse or a teacher because that's who can work and live in the bush.
Support them
You
if
know,
anything happens and
exactly, because
homeschool kids.
farming is, as we know, is reliant so much on the weather,
Mm.
and commodity prices, and things don't, in like any business, don't go according to plan. And we're there to provide off-farm income, basically. We're there if we're needed. So yes, I did. I married a farmer. We lived very, very remote. And yeah, so that's how I transitioned into farm life, um, which didn't always go to plan. And we end up having to leave the farm, our original one that we bought together just before we got married. And, it got us out of a sticky situation being a nurse because I was able to earn that income. But having now flipped farms, I have to do less and less nursing now.
So do you still do the nursing job on the side?
I did 6 shifts last year in last financial year.
6 shifts. Okay.
Yeah. So I do have to do more in the next coming years to keep if I want to keep my registration current. But I don't know if I will keep it current. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm so busy now doing a lot of other things,
Right. So that was what I
entrepreneurial
was gonna
things and
ask.
real estate.
Like why would
Yeah,
you keep that nursing if you've already created that wealth? Is it something of interest? Is it something that you want to have just in
I
case?
think I think it's a couple of different things. The just in case is always handy. But what I do love is I do love helping people and I do get some sort of satisfaction out of nursing. I just didn't get to do as much last year as I kind of wanted. But there is that adding value back to people in some of their hardest times of their life. And I really enjoyed that. I do really enjoy that about the job. And I've enjoyed it now more that I don't have to go 4 or 5 days a week. It's now because I
It's
want to and not because I
yeah.
have to.
So it's currently it's something that it's not you have yeah, as you say, you have to go to work, but it's something that you absolutely want to, isn't it? It's more rewarding when you do something that you completely enjoy rather than something that you have to
Yes,
do to survive.
exactly. It's a completely different experience now. I get to go. I do my 8 hours. I get to go home. Will I go back next week? Maybe, maybe not. Um,
Mm.
I just really enjoy. There's something about nursing. I work in an area that I only look after people for a couple of hour to a couple of hours, and then I move them on. But I'm there to sort out their pain, um, make sure they're stable, and then once they're good, I can move them out of where I am. But I get to meet so many different people. I get to have a conversation with so many different people. Every day I learn so much about different industries. Like one guy I nursed once who's allergic to brown snake venom. And I'm like, how do you know you're allergic to brown snake venom?
Specific. Yeah.
Yes. And he goes, oh, well, I was a snake milker. You know, you milk the venom for
Yeah.
anti-venom. And, like that's completely random. He had this business where he had snakes from all over the world, and he was making sort of $500,000 a year in profit
Oh,
from
wow.
snake
Okay.
venom.
Yeah.
And it's just those people that I probably wouldn't get to meet in everyday life that I love meeting when I'm nursing.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
yeah, so I'm like, how do you how do you know that?
Yeah.
Those those are the reasons why I still do nursing.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
with you in this industry, right? So because people's perspective as a farmer, people's
Mm.
perspective is farmers struggle. Farmers
Yep.
struggle and it's either, but I've met successful farmers, you know. So
Hmm.
farmers,
Hmm.
majority of farmers struggle in terms of being profitable, and there's only a minute amount of people that have farms are successful, but that's because they have real estate. It's always a but that's because. But for
Yes.
you as someone that is flipping farms and actually doing
Hmm.
farming, so
Mm.
what's your sauce or recipe of success in the farming industry?
I think you've got to do what everyone else is not doing. I think we get so, which is, I mean, it was so important in getting JT Fox because we're both, as you know, coached by JT Fox. It's about having that other perspective come in. We were doing what everyone else did. We sold our cattle at the sale yards. We sold our wheat to the wheat board. You're only doing what everyone else is doing. You're getting minimum price. You put all that effort in and you get the minimum price of whatever the commodity price is at the time.
You were
We've now,
surviving, right?
you're
We were taught to
surviving,
survive.
but
We were taught to survive.
exactly.
We were taught to do the transaction, but we were not taught as a young person to see the bigger picture until we meet
And add
someone that
value.
sees the bigger picture.
Exactly. And add value like to a product. You're always going to, so the wheat board are going to go and mill your wheat and then sell it for 5 times the price of what you got for it. Or they're going to bag it and sell it in 20 kilo lots and you've sold it as a ton. Or with cattle, they're going to go on, there's a middleman, whether it's Woolworths or another butcher or a buyer are going to go or a feedlot are going to go fatten your cattle and sell them on for twice the price or 3 times the price. It's about adding value. Now we've realized that we can add so much more profit by selling our beef direct to the public.
Mm.
And
I'm yet
and
to
now I
try.
get
I've missed out because I can't get them. But you guys should check out. We'll put on the details on the description. So you guys,
yes,
if you're in Australia and when you get bulk meat, it's always like fresh ones are always the best.
yes,
So I'm yet to try
exactly.
them, Lucinda.
No, I know. And it tastes so much differently. We've just become so used to buying our meat from the supermarket and it's been in feedlots and stuff. And we're going more, there's a big change now, a big push for straight from the farm or, from
Everything.
the producer. Yeah, everything. Everyone wants
Yeah.
the eggs from the egg farmer. They don't want to buy them at
Mm,
Woolworths anymore. They don't want the meat from Woolworths because they've realised that they add so much crap to it.
mm,
Um,
mm.
or the feedlots or whatever. So there's more this big push, and it means I consistently know that that cow is going to be worth that much to me in 18 months' time. It's
Mm.
about consistently bringing in those profits, and if it wasn't for JT, we probably wouldn't have seen the bigger picture.
But
And
it's you
and
as
that's
farmers accepting the help too, because
oh
people
yeah,
like
farmers are
ordinary
very
people,
hard to help.
right? Right. So like ordinary people already, there's a majority of ordinary people that already struggle to get help or accept that they do need help. But for farmers itself, like to seek help, to want help, to admit that they do need help, that's also another level in
It
itself,
is.
isn't it?
It's a very old school. do we
Prideful.
call it a profession? Pride, very
Yeah.
old school. We they are progressing with their technology, but it's still that I've got to do it myself sort of mentality. But having someone to walk in and say you need to do it this is going to be the way you're going to do it, especially when JT said sell the farm. I mean, that was like not even it wasn't even on
Consideration.
the
Yeah.
books. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, how many years have you been in drought since you've owned it? We went quite a lot, I think it was 14 or something. And he's like, well, how many good years have you had? And it was like 6. And he's like, well, there you go. Why are you still doing something that doesn't make
Yeah.
money? And we're like, uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so it took an outside view in to our business to go to do something that we really didn't even consider.
But with you, it wasn't just flipping farms, and flipping farms means
No,
the whole farm, isn't it? It's by doing different avenues, like the meat production and other
yes,
business and other revenue bringing in to support that just the farming, the flipping farm thing.
yes, that's right. I mean, you've got the period of time you're cleaning up the farm to get rid of it, changing fences, but you're also trying to get an income coming in, so you're not
Mm,
relying on just the sole profit. So yes, beef. We did the wheat. We converted a sheep cattle farm into a cropping farm because that added, the land value went up at least 3 times when we did that.
mm,
So by looking at your area that you are, obviously you're not going to grow crops in some areas. Sometimes you'll grow a different crop. Cotton grows in different can grow in different areas to wheat. Corn grows in different areas to wheat. Like you've got to look at what's valuable. But crops tend to be more valuable in some areas, and livestock tend to be more
mm.
valuable in other areas. So you've got to look at what you're doing. So where we currently just finished up sale about 3 weeks ago of the latest one, um, cattle, you probably wouldn't crop that area too steep. Um, okay, you could really give it a go, but it's not, you would have been, it would have been very hard. So cattle is
So
definitely the area there. And by making more money, you sell the cattle as beef.
yeah, but like you understand in terms of like when you change the farm over, you understand the whole situation of okay, when can I change it to suit the situation of that particular farm? It's like in
That's right.
business, right?
That's right.
When you look at a business,
Yes,
it's like, do
exactly.
I keep this structure or can I flip it and change the structure differently where it's still running as a business, but now instead of
Structure.
selling this as a forefront, I can change it where
Mm.
I'm actually selling something else that's more profitable.
Yes, it is, and
So
you've got to know when to pivot.
absolutely. So let's look back in terms of who you are today and who you are back then. So I know you for about 2 years
Yep.
ish, but you've been having
Yes.
coaching longer
Yep.
than 2 years. And when I
Yes.
met you
That's
and
it.
when I first saw you, like you were the typical supporter with of your husband, the woman of the
Mm-hmm.
background, and your husband was the forefront, right? And you allowed
Yep.
him to be the forefront. But now you kind of took over and you're this amazing swan that has suddenly took over the stages internationally from someone that is actually supporting to the husband to being the driver and actually dressing boldly and presenting yourself confidently on stage and meeting people internationally. Tell us about that transition and how that worked with you and your husband.
Yeah. So we always had a role. I guess I just I was the nurse. I just sat in the background. He did the farm work. He originally did the JT thing. He did the interview, on the stage at Mega. He did that, and then he's like, I just want to concentrate more on the doing
Mm,
um, of the plan. And then I stepped up. I just thought, well, I need to do more of the
the
business side,
branding.
the branding. I moved away from nursing and took over the books, took over the business plan, and the branding. And
Yeah.
I'm now on the stages. He's very nervous. He's very left brain. He's He doesn't particularly, he likes talking to people, but he's not great in crowds. I guess being a nurse, I've talked to anybody. I've had to talk to everybody. You can't not talk to anybody when you're a nurse. You have to talk to
Yeah.
every different personality. And I think that's allowed me to step into that role of building a lot of relationships and reaching out to people. I can talk to a left brain, I can talk to a right brain, introvert, extrovert. um,
Yes. So
you
like
know,
it's a team tagging kind of thing, isn't it? You both are
it
working
was.
together. Yeah.
Yes.
And like he was okay with you taking the spotlight now. It's like, okay,
Oh,
now
very much so. Very much so.
it's like,
He's
oh my
the,
gosh, take it.
you can, yeah, yeah. Here's the baton. You run with it. Yeah. And you know what? He's been very supportive of, I think, before we met JT, he was very, um, I like change. I think if something's not working, you change it, you pivot.
Mm,
He's being a farmer, obviously, is a little bit less reluctant to change. But I'm like, if I can give him the plan, because he's left brain, change can happen,
it will
and
be taken into consideration for change.
it'll be taken into consideration. And I usually, if it's something he sees as beneficial, then
Mm,
we can change. But yeah, I took over all that, and he was more than happy to let me take that over. And I'm very lucky because he goes, I can go to the US and speak on the stages. I can go to the Sydney Opera House and speak on the stages. He's more than happy for me to, go on that tour last year, the real estate tour, and
yeah.
stay at home. And as I said, he likes to be uh, it's not the, he's the doer. He's the,
Mm.
like
He's hands on. He's more
he's
hands
hands
on,
on. He
but
loves
you are more the relationship builder, isn't
relationship
it?
builder.
Because yeah,
Exactly. We work really well together. I've been very blessed that we can work, we have our paths. And if we stick to our paths, it's very harmonious. um, I don't particularly like getting in the cattle yards with him. I'm too slow. I'm too this. It ends up, um, we work well together, but we've got to stick to our lanes. Like he sticks to his lane and I stick to my lane. That works really, really well.
yeah.
He
So
likes
I
to
gotta ask
sometimes
this, right?
cross. Yeah.
Like, were you always this bold person in terms of personality and the way that you present yourself and dress up, or did you transition and evolve to this person?
Look, I've always been a person that has enjoyed. I was always in trouble at school for talking. Um, um, I I guess I've always enjoyed
The reason why
talking to
I asked
people.
this is
Yeah,
because my background in music, like we were always
mm,
dressed in black, right? As
yes,
backstage people, it was black, 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 black. And when I
yeah,
made that decision where I was going to bring my brand international and I was going to be the brand, the first garment that I made was tailored made and it was a red suit. I'm like, create me
mm,
something that is as bold and bright and big where people will always remember me because my right now I'm trying to bring my brand internationally. And that was the first thing. It's like, okay, what's the biggest, boldest color I can do from someone that transitioned from a black musician to someone that's on
mm.
stage and recognizable? So for you, like how was that journey for yourself from being
I
at the back end with the
back.
supportive role to
Yes,
suddenly
to the
being,
fronting.
whoa, yeah.
Think I think my mum is a fashion design was a fashion designer, um, and a dressmaker and everything like that. So I've always had mum in the background, and if I've said I wanted something, she made us dress in these big bold things when we were kids. I didn't particularly like it in my teenage years. I dressed in a lot of black. But then I kind of went to uni and I kind of found myself. I've always liked bright colors, but I really didn't step up the fashion until I met Liz Clift. And she said, I want to dress you. I've got the perfect dress for you to Vince Vaughn, so you'll stand out on stage. And and that's when I went, she actually dressed me and fitted me properly. I haven't always been a I've got a fairly curvaceous figure, and I haven't always been able to find clothes that fit me properly.
That you
And
were
she took
comfortable
me
with.
that I was comfortable in. Like I like bold colors. I've
Yeah.
always liked, except for those teenage years where you kind of want to disappear for a bit into black, and you go through your stages. Um, and then my and then yeah, Liz, I went down to her shop and she just bought out like this whole big rack of clothing for me to try on, and we're like, no, that doesn't work. Things that I would never ever pick.
Yeah.
She's like, try that on. That'll look amazing. And I'm like, tried it on. I'm like, oh my God, I would never have picked that off the shelf. So
Mm.
since meeting her two or three, probably about 3 years ago, I met her at Mega Success. She sat in front of me and we talked because she had a very similar history to my mum. She grew up on a sheep farm in the middle of nowhere, left the farm and became a fashion designer. And that's very similar to my mum. And then so I got to know her really well. And then she dressed me for Vince Vaughn, and then she dressed me for Mega that year. So I had all these bold outfits that she picked out for me. Would I have picked them out myself? No, because they weren't my style at the time.
Mm.
But I just go with her, and whatever she thinks now,
You
she'll be like, this is
trusted.
go.
Yeah.
I trusted
Yeah.
her. Now I have a stylist who's now like Liz is the international stylist of the year.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and to have her dress me, I put all my faith in her, and she's come out with some amazing outfits like this jacket, which is very bold.
Mm. But like
Um,
now you actually you portray yourself as the CEO of your business. Like the way you once you change that whole the way that you dress yourself, once you feel comfortable
mm,
in whatever outfit that you have and fine, now you've
yeah.
actually dressed to be the CEO of the business. And so when people see you, people are like, oh, okay, she's a somebody, even though you're flipping farms, you're somebody,
I know. I got
So
very known for my quick outfit changes at
yeah,
Mega last year.
yeah,
Everyone's like, "What's she coming up with next?" So yes,
right.
that was never my intention to be um, this, but to sort of be known for what she wearing next.
Mm. So how
Um,
important is it
but
for women to dress up the way that we do on stage or professionally? Because I had this
I
conversation
think
with
we're
an
judged.
event. Yes.
I think we're
So
judged very much by what we wear. Whereas men, a suit's a suit.
a suit and a tie is all they need,
All
right?
that you need,
And you can't
yeah.
remember
Whereas
if they wore the suit 5 days a week. Like you don't know.
they change their tie, and you don't
That's
know
right.
it's the same suit or not. But women, I think, and I'm talking like in politics and CEOs and those big corporate women, they're all judged by what they wear before they're judged a bit for their policies.
Mm. So how
Have you noticed
important
that?
is it, you think, for you personally, how important do you think that we have to dress the part?
Oh, I think it's very important. Like, it's a shame that we do. I think that we should be valued on what our ideas and our personality and how we contribute. But the first thing people see is what we wear.
Yeah, it's
And I
playing the
think
game.
yep, we're judged on
Mm.
what we wear, um, or how it fits, how we look. Does that look cheap? Does it look, does she look amazing? Does it fit her properly? Does it not fit her properly? Heels too
Yeah.
high? Can she walk in them? Is she wearing flats? Oh no. Um,
Is that from the
I
rack
think,
from SCS? Like, I don't
yeah,
know.
I think it's so, I think, unfortunately, but I think women are judged by how we dress
Mm.
before we're judged on the I think it lets us step into where we need to go next.
Absolutely. But the thing is, it depends on how much effort we put into it. The way that I see it is
Mm,
people see if you put effort into how you present yourself as women, that means you're someone that's serious about business, someone that's serious about having things
hmm.
done properly. And it's
Yes.
eliminating that thought process so that you can be serious and go straight to the point in doing business and doing things as quickly as possible, rather than trying to convince someone that you mean business. Is the way that I
Yeah.
look at it.
I know you've seen Reggie Bat speak quite a few times, and I have um, a very deep love for Reggie. And he always says, and it always resonates with me, when he started out in his first industry, he said he always dressed a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
than the top people, and I've kind of taken that with me along my journey
Is
since
dress
meeting
according to who you are meant to be
to be.
instead
Yes,
of who you were? Is dressing
yes.
up to who you are going to be instead of who you are now?
Now, yeah, and I just love what he says. Like he always looks immaculate, and he commands that room because he just looks so
Polished.
professional,
Yeah.
polished. Yes, that is the perfect word. He is polished. And he always comments on my posts, like when I'm, dressed up on a stage, he goes, "You look $1,000,000." And I always like, well, you taught me
Yeah.
that I always have to be the best dressed in the room, or least dressed better, that little bit better than where I
Mm.
am.
Always, isn't
So
it? Oh, it's always
yeah,
leveling up no matter what, whether or not it's business, the way that we present ourselves, and it's
yes,
being the person that we are meant to become rather than
yes,
who we are currently. It's like, okay, I want to be this person. I'm going to be someone of this level, of this status, and that is who I'm going to act to become that person. That's how I'm going to present myself as that person. That's how I'm going to dress
yes,
because I respect myself enough to be that person.
yes, yes. I mean, I'm not always this glamorous. I was out feeding cattle yesterday, so I was in my farm.
She's
I was
not
in
in
my
her
farm
heels,
clothes.
people.
I
feeding,
wasn't in
feeding
my
the hay,
heels
like
yesterday, but
oh,
yeah, I
and
had
glamorous
hay
in your
covered in
outfit.
hay and mud and stuff like yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think when you're asking for uh the people in a business environment to take you seriously, then yes, you have to step it up.
First impression always counts, as I say. Yeah.
Yeah, and we do judge. I mean,
Mm.
look, Tinder's made billions out of judgment. The first to judge a book by its
Swipes.
cover, hasn't it? Swipe, swipe. Not that
Yeah,
I've done that because I was married before text messages.
that's
Were
right.
started met my husband before text messages were invented. So, but they've made a very successful business out of judgment, out of
Right. And
that
it's
first
social
impression.
media is the same thing too, like, and people's like
Yeah,
attention span.
total.
So when the way that we walk as women in a room, we need to
Mm-hmm.
be able to turn heads to create
Mm-hmm.
that impression so that we
Mm-hmm.
can have our
Mm-hmm.
foot through that door. And unfortunately, that is the way that it is. It's playing the game. Like people are
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I'm gonna be me. It's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but you can be me in a different way that makes people open your door a little bit to see who you are, to be curious to not in regards to who you are as a female business owner, to want to
Yes.
do business with you, to actually want to help you, to actually want to work with you in whatever business that you have for growth.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
So we don't
And I
have to wear heels in the farmland all the time. You don't have to
no,
wear heels in your sleep. But the thing is, it's
no,
dressing
no.
up the part at certain situations to suit the situations at hand.
Exactly. Exactly. I think people think that sometimes out in the out in the farm
You should,
in
like you should have like
my
a
in
photo
my
shoot with,
I
with
know
your
I should
with your
yeah, yeah,
pitchfork or
yeah.
whatever
Oh,
you
and then
guys
there's
use in
also
the
the
farm on
farm
your
too.
tractor, right? Your
Yeah.
tractor.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
No, that would turn heads for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
thank you so
it
much
is. Yeah,
for
I love that
for for
question.
being here. But what is that last advice you
You're
would
very
give people out there?
welcome. My last advice is just if go for it. Just do it. Um, like things seem hard. We've been in a position where we were broke, basically. Um, and we had to move 4,000 kilometers away from where we were living. And people go, I don't know how you did that. I hated the situation we were in.
Mm,
And I just say to everyone, if you hate your situation, change it.
mm,
Or if you aren't happy with your situation, change it.
mm.
Go for
So
something else.
for a woman in business, how would you
Mm.
advise? What would your advice be for women entrepreneur, women business owners out there in terms of their journey towards growth?
I would just say break down those doors. Get in there, talk to everyone, um, make the phone calls. If they're men, just talk to the men. Um, just bash down those doors and just storm through and show them that who you are and be present and just move forward and don't get held back by fear and because I'm in a male dominated industry. When I talk about farms, they're like, you're a woman.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm married to a farmer. I live and breathe what he lives and breathes. So just I just talk to men and storm through the door and say, here I am, this is what I'm doing.
Mm. So not
All right.
literally, guys, like ladies, not literally
No,
like
no, no,
storm
no, no,
through the
storm
door.
through the door. But do you know what I mean? I'm here, I'm
Yeah,
present. Show
it's
yourself. Be
right.
present.
But it's also understanding the game, right? As a woman entrepreneur, it's
Understanding the game.
understanding the
Yes.
game, it's knowing how to present yourself from a woman's perspective to gain that respect for men to
Mm-hmm.
listen.
Yes, totally. You've got to present yourself how you want to be seen.
Absolutely. Well,
Walk the
thank you for
talk.
coming
You're
up
very
to this
welcome. Thank
episode.
you.
If we will put all your descriptions below on the information on the
Hmm.
descriptions below. So if anyone is
Hmm.
interested to follow you, by all means,
Hmm.
please do follow Lucinda. If you're interested in getting the meat stuff and whatever she's doing, then we're also going to
Yeah.
put it in the description. But if all of you out there love this episode, please do like, subscribe, and share it. Especially if you know anyone that's in the farming industry, because you never know. And also, women business owners out there, if you know that this resonates with you, please do share with the other women out there, because it's all about playing the game in a woman's point of view. We look younger because we present ourselves, we look after ourselves, so we have to be able to understand the game to play it, to be able to suit us in our industry as
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
female business owners itself. But thank you everyone for tuning in, and
Thank you.
thank you Lucinda for today,
You're very
and
welcome.
I shall see all of you on the next episode.
Great. Thank you.